happy Tuesday, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys are having a great week so far, and that the weather is beautiful wherever you are. We're actually having a slight cool down from 90 degrees, so it's like perfect right now. We're soaking it up. Anyway, today I am so excited for my guest. I have Desiree Warner on, who is one of our awesome reps and has been with us now for a while, working with us for a while. So we're going to go ahead and have a chat with her. And I think I have something exciting for you next week, which I'm not going to give you hints about yet. You're just going to have to tune back in to find out what I'm talking about. So next week, tune in for a fun little show and be surprised to see what it is. Dun, dun, dun. All right, let's go ahead and bring on Desiree. Hey there, Desiree. How are you?
Good. How are you, Camille?
Good. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
So I'm going to mostly start off by giving the floor to you. And you've been with us now for a good amount of time. And you handle a section of Illinois as well as a section of Indiana for us. And go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and your background before and sales.
Okay, so my most relative experience is when I started working for Golden Books right out of college as a field rep. I moved from Minneapolis to Decatur, Illinois. I managed and sold to most retailers in Illinois with Golden Books. So I always say it was a fun job because everyone smiles when you bring up the word Golden Books.
That's so
each
true.
Day was the right beginning.
I know. I mean, it's such a... Yeah, I agree with that. Who wouldn't smile from Golden Books? Everybody has these beautiful childhood memories.
Yes.
That's awesome. How did you get into... Can I ask how you got into Golden Books right out of college?
Well, I had some connections with Golden Books through a friend, and then I interviewed, but I relocated, and so that's when I was able to jump on board with them.
Awesome.
And they're a great company. They're tied to Disney. I did learn a lot because I sold to most of the mass. I sold to Walmart's, Target's, Ventures, K's Merchandise, a little smaller, Venture, like I said, Venture, and Jack's Discount. So I was right in the middle of all of that with Golden Books.
Wow. I didn't know. I mean, I guess now that I think about it, it makes sense that they're tied to Disney. But I guess I didn't put that. Disney owns everything.
Yeah, they were.
Like Disney owns everything.
And then we did sell puzzles and games with that, but the majority of the responsibility was selling books, and then color books and sound books, hard books. It's a really fun job. Books are very popular.
Yeah.
After I worked with Golden Books, I had my kids, and then I took a job as an executive director with a national nonprofit for 9 counties.
Wow.
And I did that for a while, and then I expanded my leadership position with a civic and community organization. So at that time, that job, I lobbied, marketed, educated a community on the federal enhancement grant. And I do want to talk about that at the end of the interview because it's an essential tool for all communities, small and big.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'd love to talk about that. Yeah, I'm going to make a note right now to get back to that.
And then, I ended up with Ann Sales. I wanted to get back out in the field. That was my first love and passion was consumer products. So it's exciting to be back working with customers. We have a variety of types of customers, and we have a variety of lines. So it's exciting every day.
Yeah, we're constantly keeping you on your toes, right? We're throwing new lines at you and
all the time.
Changing it up all the time. So as soon as things, you start to relax, we're like, oh, wait a second. Here's a new one.
Yeah.
So
I really like that. And I was out in the field long enough with Golden Books 5 years that I got to know the territory and how to do some routing. And I feel like that helped me kind of jump in with Ann Sales. Even though I wasn't an independent wholesale gift rep, I felt that helped me manage my time. It's helped me manage my time.
Well, I mean, that's a great point. Knowing, like you said, your routing and the territory, that often feels like half of the battle.
Yeah.
if not more than
Yeah.
half the battle, because, being on the road, driving and everything, and, knowing the best routes, and that is it's such a time.
Yeah. I never knew north and south and east and west, and I know that now. I'm
Without
like,
having
okay,
to
I can
look
go
on your
north.
car. My car doesn't do that. But that's a
Little
really
things
good
like
point.
that.
When I lived in Chicago, I always knew where east was, and when I moved out of Chicago, I had to be like, wait a second, I have
Yeah.
to relearn, my directional,
Yes.
because I felt so proud that I did know directions when I lived there.
Yeah, and
But
actually, with Golden Books, I had an atlas, and I bought one when I first started. And I do refer to it sometimes, but the GPS is really helpful.
something we always talk about is we remember the transition of the mapping going from the Atlas book that everybody kept
Yeah,
in their cars.
I use that.
Yep.
Yep.
And I know many reps still have them as, a backup, which I think is great.
Yeah,
And
I do.
then looking up, what was it, MapQuest? A lot of people used
Yeah.
MapQuest for a while. That would give you like the turn by turn directions. And then these GPS, and now I'm like, I went through those phases too. I definitely
Yeah,
used
I did.
MapQuest a ton,
Yep.
but now it's like, gosh, GPS, especially as a rep, makes it
It's
so much
wonderful.
easier. It's so much easier. And now you can map out multiple locations on one
Yeah.
trip. Make sure you're, saving your time. Yeah, thank you, whoever came out with
Yeah,
GPS,
I agree.
So when you are on the road, which is all the time, I know you are, a true road rep and always on the road driving around. Whether you're going as a buyer or you're prospecting for business, can you tell me what it is that makes you stop and maybe catches your eye for a store?
Yes. So instead of the word and, like and sales, I'm using und, unique, new, and different.
Oh, that's so great. I
So
love
whether
that.
you have a cool sign,
Yeah.
a wonderful window display, really different potted plants,
Ooh.
my mojo is curiosity kills the cat.
Yeah.
They'll come to you. Even if it isn't the first time they've gone by, if you have something different, even if it's just a little, lighting or anything, they'll stop by. So unique, bold, and unique, new, and different is definitely cool.
I
I think
love
it's
it.
the way
What
to
a
go.
great
Keep that in mind.
that's a great acronym to talk about. Um,
Yeah.
so when you do go into those stores, I mean, you have such an awesome set of personal tools that you bring in. Are you seeing, what type of buying strategies are you seeing these days? We've seen things change so much over, the last several years.
Yeah.
But, are you seeing any prominent buying strategies out in the field?
So overall, a strong buyer eliminates the guesswork. And they do that by several techniques, I believe. One is research. That strong buyer will research a line, they'll research the vendor, and they will go deep in that line if they really want it.
Yeah.
By going deep, they drive the customer loyalty. They drive the business to that line and they develop the line. A good buyer, I should say a strong buyer, probably caters to their business. They cater to their customers. They also communicate well with their staff. Merchandising is essential. The store always looks great, or that there's an emphasis on merchandising. But they do look at new. So even though they have maybe made some plans for the season or year, they will meet with their reps or they'll look at the line objectively. And then lastly, they do a lot of planning. They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. I
They're,
mean, those are all such great strategies. I love that you brought up something that I think isn't talked about enough. The fact that they, when they're confident and comfortable in a line, they commit and go deep.
yes.
I think that oftentimes it's overlooked how significant that can be.
Yes.
I mean, if you go deep in a display, or it creates the story of the display and an impact, and you're also showing yeah, your confidence in the line to your team and your customers. That's such a great point to bring up.
Yeah, I mean, they research it before they do it. And
Yeah.
even if it's one of our lines, they'll meet with us. Um, they have enough knowledge most of the time. They don't make that decision right away, but they'll investigate a little bit on their own, but then they do buy deep,
Yeah.
and then they drive the business. They're going to drive it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are you seeing specific sales tools that are being preferred to use, anymore? I mean, we've seen a lot of shift around catalogs, paper sales tools, online sales tools, electronic sales tools. What are you finding the buyers, is there one thing that the buyers are still geared towards, or what sales tools are you finding are most requested to or comfortable to work out in the field?
So, in no specific order, they're using a variety of tools.
Okay.
They're not any longer using one tool.
Okay.
It may not be to the level that someone else is using the tool.
Yeah.
But for instance, social media is being used by everyone. Whether they do Facebook Live is the question, or how often are they going into Facebook Live? Gift shows, they're still attending gift shows. Some stores go every season, some skip, or some will change up the gift show and go to Vegas versus Atlanta. So they're still doing that. I think catalogs are essential for both the rep and the store owner. They're still looking, even if you drop off the catalog, they're still using that as a tool. They'll look it over. I mean, it's daunting to me when I look behind the customer's desk and there's 5 big piles of catalogs, and my catalog is going on that pile.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out how to have it not go on that pile.
How to have it be like the one that's on the front of the desk that they're actually looking at.
I know. And I'm like, oh. I think they do. I think they are using trend. I think the tools may have improved on looking at trend blogs or trend information. I think they want to seek that information out more. So that's been kind of fun to see. And I think the biggest tool that they have is adapting. So if they're adapting, that's a tool. And in retail, we've always had to have that tool. So I think it's just a combination of tools. At what level they're all a little different at.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. And it was proven more than ever in this last year and a half that adaptability has been essential. And we certainly saw the retailers that were able to adapt quickly. Some of them were extremely successful throughout this whole, pandemic and everything. And others were at least able to survive and, still be around right now, which we love to see. So yeah, adaptability is certainly essential, as it is in a lot of businesses. But I do feel in the retail space, it's very important. So what are some personal things that you feel that you bring? Every rep has their own personal tools that are valuable to your customers. What do you feel is your valuable tools that you bring to your customers?
Well, first, I'm a specialty shopper.
Okay.
So I love to shop. So I'm working in an industry where I like to go shopping.
Yep.
So I provide a passion for the independence. I went to the garden centers and did my Christmas shopping. I always went to the independent little stores for gifts. So I did a lot of that, just even therapeutic, just to have an experience and get out of the house. So I like to do that. So provide, maybe besides passion, I have the education and some proven success. So that is probably some combination of things that I feel are valuable. For each appointment, though, I do account prep. I do appointment prep, I mean. I do evaluate your business. I do listen. So those are, I think, valuable. And then I work as a partner with you. So when we meet, we do a buying program together because our goals are the same.
Right.
Our goal is to grow and our goal is to make money. So we're doing this together.
Yeah, I love that.
So I approach it like that.
I love the way you said that too. What's your favorite thing about this job?
So two equal things are customers and repping our product. It's the same. So I work with wonderful people, and now we're friends.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of value to me with that, because even if there's a down cycle, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to catch up with so-and-so when our appointment comes up after the show. And then I get to catch up with them and see what they're doing and how they're doing. So it's just almost just a really, I feel like it's really important. I feel like I enjoy that immensely. And I do equally immense representing our products. There's a variety of things to sell and to know. It's constantly changing. We get new catalogs twice a year. So it's exciting. It's always fun to look at what's new and then try to figure out how I'm going to present that to the customers. So I feel like it's both. Yeah. That's what I like.
Yeah, I know. I love when we get the new catalogs and I open it and like sift through every page. Yeah. And, sometimes my husband will be like, oh no, what do you want now? Especially when it comes to Christmas stuff. Because that's my... Yeah,
and I value that we do get the opportunity to have kind of 2 seasons where we get catalogs and new information we're getting prepped for. So I feel like that is probably my favorite part about it, being out in the field. I do like being out in the field.
Yeah. What suggestions or tips would you give to someone that's newly considering becoming a rep or coming in, into this industry?
Well, I think you have to, if you're in a sales position, because that's how you're making your income. I think you have to know a lot about yourself in sales. I feel like know your strengths. If use whatever approach is good for you. So if you like a formal presentation, and a set aside appointments, and go with that. If you're a casual person and you want to do a drop by and you gather business that way, know that about yourself and just work with that, because it'll work both ways.
Yes.
And then you do have to be able to ask for the business. You have to ask. You have to close and ask. It may not be your first, if you're nervous the first time, I understand that, we all do. But if you are good at asking for business, you're good at sales. You're good at that. But there's a variety of approaches. Yeah. So just know what your strengths are, know how you want to work, and then remember you have to be able to ask for business.
You're going
to get no's.
I love both of those elements that you said, and especially now more than ever, I feel like being true to yourself is more accepted now than ever, and people really value that. People can tell when you're being disingenuous and those things. And I agree, it's so important working with a salesperson of any industry or anything. That they feel, comfortable in who they're being and that they're being real. Like you said, whether it's formal or informal or, those types of things. So I love, really what you're saying is, be true to who you are, which I love and I think is a statement that's being shouted essentially from the rooftops right now. And you're right, which it is such a hard thing to do, especially at first, to get comfortable with it. But you are 100% right that asking for the sale is so important. And so many people, especially if they feel that you're being genuine and like you and feel that you truly believe in the product, want to give you the sale, but just need that last push to ask for it and to make sure you close it.
I mean, you have to remember there's a lot of competition. I think as you work independently, I mean, if you want to work independently, I like to do that too. However, I'm always surprised at how many reps are out there. We have the pleasure of working the Atlanta Gift Show twice a year, and you get to see how many different personalities there are. And if I have time, I'll catch, a rep or two and see how they're doing it. Sometimes you go, oh, I could never do that. However, sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I'm just like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you do have to be comfortable in your own skin, and you have to like working with people. You definitely have to like being out and about.
Yes.
If you want to be in sales.
Yes, totally agree. And because sometimes getting out the door is the hardest part.
Yep.
Are there any suggestions you have for a new retail business? We've seen slews of, we were just having this conversation of different types of retail businesses opening as, unfortunately a lot closed. But do you have any suggestions or tips for new retailers?
Yes, I do. Stay current. Know exactly what is going on in retail before you open a store, what the good, bad, and ugly, and be objective. What is it that you want to do in retail? Are you just, you want a destination store? Investigate it. How is it doing? Find out exactly where it's really at and what you're going to do with that type of business. And then work your store. Don't step away. It's not like you have to be there 40 hours a day,
right.
But you definitely have to not step away. And then you have to embrace technology because it's here and it's here to help. It's even part of our jobs. Yeah. We rely on information too. It's constantly changing, and I understand that. I have technology problems, I think, every 6 months, I think. But
don't we all?
Things break down or whatever, or they're changing upgrades. So we're really in that together, but technology's here, and you have to embrace it. You can't think you have to have that part of your business if you are going to open up a retail store at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I love so much everything you've said. You had so much great advice and helpful tips and insights. I've loved our conversation, and now I get to throw you my final 3 questions.
Yeah, I see that.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. What is your favorite book, podcast, or blog?
Okay, so I'm going to do a book.
Okay.
And my favorite book is The Biography of Benjamin Franklin by Walter Isaacson.
Ooh.
So the reason why I'm picking that as something to read, or my favorite book, I didn't know much about Benjamin Franklin other than he invented electricity.
Yeah.
However, he had an adventurous life, not just not an ordinary scientist. So I think overall he was one of our best writers. I don't know if people know that. He was a scientist. He was a media baron. He was also one of our strongest philanthropists in our country.
Ooh.
He was a business strategist and a political leader. And everything he did improved. He just didn't help himself. So everything he did had an immense impact on everyone's life. And still today, we benefit from him. And his adventure, I think, was from his helping others. So his whole life was just so immensely interesting. But it was actually from sharing his skill sets.
Wow. That's really
So
cool.
I think it's a must read for everyone because I had no idea. And when I just stumbled on the book, I'm like, wow, what a person.
That's really cool.
And an adventure, a life of adventure.
Yeah. Huh. I will have to add that. I will fully admit
Yep.
I'm not good at reading books. I like audiobooks, so I will add that to
Yeah.
my audiobook
Yes.
collection. Anymore,
Yes.
reading physical books makes me fall asleep. I
I
remember
know.
a day
It's
when that
hard.
wasn't the case, but now I have little guys running around, so I just
It's
fall
hard.
asleep.
Yeah, it's a different time of your life for sure.
Yes. What is the most important item in your toolbox? This can be physical or a mental space or anything.
Humor. Good or bad.
Yep. You got to keep laughing, right?
Yeah, so my goal is to always have the buyer smile or laugh because we're doing this together and it's serious. It's very serious at times,
Yep.
but we have to enjoy it.
That's awesome.
So I try to make them happy.
That's awesome. That's a great one. All right, I am going to take a pause before I get to our final question because I did want to talk about that grant that you talked about.
Yes, I do want to talk about it too.
So before I ask my final question, can we talk about that a little bit?
You want to talk about the grant right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be as quick as possible on the federal enhancement grant. The federal enhancement grant is a sidewalk streetscape grant. It is available to any size community, small, medium, and large. If you have a state route in your town and it goes just maybe through your entrance, or if it's on Main Street, you can get a grant that pays 80% of improvements to your sidewalk, aesthetic lighting, landscaping, and curbing. It's paid 80%. So what you need to do is go to your chamber or your economic development, and if they are not the key players in your town, you go to your mayor because your city will underwrite the grant.
Wow.
It's a huge aesthetic and economic boost.
Wow.
It's a major player.
Yes.
And not everybody knows about it.
Hello. Everybody should go to their town right now and be like, are we using this?
Yes. It took me 7 years. We worked on it 7 years to get it passed. And it took too long because they were unaware. It was just a ball coming out of nowhere. They had no idea. And then it's education and lobbying a little bit. And then after they did it, they applied 3 or 4 times after. So if you do a $500,000 grant, you have to come up with 20%. They did $1 million and then they did a couple ones afterwards. It is an economic boost.
Wow. I'm sure.
So when you go to towns and you see beautiful lighting, beautiful sidewalks, beautiful, it can be trees, it can be landscaping. It's most likely tied to that enhancement grant, and everybody should know about it. I don't think everybody knows about it.
I'm sure not everybody knows about it.
So it's a federal enhancement sidewalk grant.
That's great. What a great thing for talk about, being educated and helping your customers. That right there is a huge,
Yeah, I went into a town. I'm like, I know you got a grant for this. Yeah, we did. You can even have your welcome signs a part of it. Even your welcome signs in your town if it's on the state route.
Yeah. Wow, that's great.
And sometimes it leads to a facade program, so your downtown may not be helping generate like aesthetic improvements. Mm-hmm. So it can be kind of a part of a bigger plan for your town.
Right.
And it is a buy-in program from your community. They really get excited about it, and they're really excited you're willing to, get help. And it's available. You can apply every year.
Wow.
Reapply every year.
Wow. All right, I'm going to look into this in my town, guys.
Well, you might have it in Geneva.
We might. We might. I'm in Batavia now, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, right, Batavia.
If
It has to be on a state route, though. It
yeah,
has to be a state route.
that's true. I don't know if we are. I'll look into it.
Just that. They'll know. Ask your husband. No. Is this a state route?
I know. I should know that, but I've been so in my own bubble. So, all right, our last question. Thank you so much for that information. That's amazing information that everyone should look into. Our last
For a while.
my last. Did I lose you? Okay.
You're back.
Okay.
You're back.
How do you think retail is going to continue to evolve throughout the rest of the year? I know we're halfway through. We're coming up to a big holiday, which I think is going to be a big holiday now that a lot of places are opening up and everything. But I think we're still going to see a lot of things evolve, throughout this next year. What do you think is going to happen?
I think retail is really good at adapting. I've never thought that I think it's always going to be a part of our lifestyle. I think we're going to have a good Christmas. I think the stores learned more about themselves than they ever did before. And I think whatever they did to keep their doors open or reinvent themselves, they'll probably take some of that and plan it incorporate it in the future with their day-to-day business activities. I think we've all learned a lot, and I think they will take it and run with it. I think retail always has done that. Even big stores have done that.
Yeah.
They jump on the bandwagon, they learn from their mistakes, or they come on board. And I think retailers are on board now. They're more aware of technology, the impact it has. I think they're aware more of their customer base and who they are selling to and who they are not selling to. And they know more like, well, maybe I don't have this customer group or this age group. They're talking about it more than they ever did. So I think it's going to be a great year. I think they're gearing up for a strong third and fourth quarter.
Yeah,
I think they're actually excited because they have more tools than they've ever used before.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Christmas is going to be strong. Fourth quarter is in general going to be strong, and I'm excited to watch it and continue to hear from everybody. We're certainly hearing about them prepping for it right now. So
they are.
And then I'll be seeing you in Atlanta soon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's coming up. I haven't gone for a while, guys, so I'm really excited to go.
I know you haven't been.
I know. I'm so excited. I get to run over there for just a few days and, work with some customers and see all the beautiful product. Yeah. I love going to Atlanta, so I'm really excited. And
it looks like it's going to be a busy show. I mean, the vendors will be there.
The vendors are definitely going to be there. There's a lot of customers that are going to be there. Dallas is going to be busy too. I'm not sure as much about Vegas, but people are definitely getting back out there and are in buying and prep mode. So so I personally am really excited to get back into markets and and I haven't seen you in person in forever either. So I'll actually get to see our team members. I'm so excited. So thank you so much, Desiree.
Yeah, thank you. Yep.
And I'll talk to you obviously soon, but like I said, I very much look forward to seeing you soon as well.
Yep.
Have a good rest of your day.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
I went to the wrong screen, guys. Sorry about that. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time today. Let us know if you guys are going to the shows. Are you going to Dallas? Are you going to Atlanta? Are you going to Vegas? Or, any of the shows you're going to, let us know. We want to hear about it. Like I said, the decision has just been made that I get to go this year. And I'm only going for a few days, probably the shortest time I've ever been. But that's okay. I'll take what I can get, right? Holler at us. Let us know if you're going to be there. We'd love to see you guys. Make appointments because, it certainly is still best to make appointments as everyone is juggling, times and, still being cautious and careful and respectful of everyone. And feel free to, you can make appointments directly with us or your sales rep. You can send us a direct message. You can call us. You can email us. You can find out who your local rep is through our website at ansales.com. And I think almost our entire team is going to be there, if not our entire team. So I hope that you guys all have a great rest of your week. We are going to be on next week with a fun show. I'm not going to give any hints yet about what that's going to be. And until then, we'll see you soon.